Hello everybody, today I am going to talk about the user stories, bugs, tasks and test cases. Okay, so I will show you how to create this and then we will go into a bit more detail and understand what are the different features available within each of these and how you can use it to improve the productivity of the team. So let's first create a project. So to create a project, log into your Azure DevOps portal and then click on new project and fill up these things. Click on create. It will create a project for you. So I have already created a project called as AON Transport. So let me go inside this. So here you can see the home page. So what you need to do is so you can go to backlogs and from there you can start creating the work items. Okay, so there are multiple ways of doing it. You can also go to work items and do it, but let's say we are going to the backlogs, and from the backlogs we will reach this page. Here in this page also you can create work items, right? So but in this page you can only create three kinds of work items. So those are epics, features and stories. Okay, now when you create a new project, by default you will not get epics link. So to enable it, you need to go to the settings page and here check this. Okay, when you check this, it will come up here. Now how to create all these epics, features, stories, what is the relationship between these, I have already described in another video. I will provide the link below in the description, so you can go to that video and watch it to understand more about it. But basically, in a nutshell, so epics are the top level, epics are at the top level, and then below it is the features, and below features are the stories, right? Now it is not mandatory that every story will have a feature and every feature will have will be connected to epic. Okay, but that is the ideal way of breaking it down. Now let's create a few stories first. So click on new work item. You can see it is a user story now, so I can create a user story. So if I cancel this and select feature here and then click on new work item, then you can see it will be now feature, right? So when you click on new work item, it will by default create a feature for you. So for this tutorial, I want to go through the stories. So I am clicking on that. Now a user story. Now I have created a project called as AON Transport. So basically the project is to create a digital platform for a transport company. Okay, so now let's say you are working in that project. You are a product owner or a business analyst. You want to create few stories, right, for the team. So that's the first step. And then once you create all these stories, add it to the backlog, then you will select some of the stories and move it to a sprint. Okay, so sprint can be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, so sometimes even 4 weeks. So you move these things to sprint. In the sprint, the team works on these stories, and then they will complete the stories, and if there are something which couldn't be completed, then that will move to the subsequent sprint. Okay, to the next sprint. And then plus you keep on adding things from backlog into sprints. Okay, so that way you fill up the sprints and the team work on it, delivers it. So user story. So as an user, so that is the way how you write the title of a story. So as an user, I want to get locations of my vehicles. Okay, so this is a transport company. Basically the story is saying that so there should be some kind of interface where when a user goes there, they would be able to see all the vehicles with their numbers and the location where it is currently. Okay, so the vehicle may be moving, right? They need the live location of the vehicle so that they can track it. Now you can also basically what you do is as an user, I want to get locations of my vehicle, but then in the end you say why you want it. Okay, so in that case we can add this line so that I can track them in real time. Okay, so this is the actually standard way of writing the stories. Some people also prefer not to provide so many details in the title, rather they give it in the description. So that is also fine. A lot of people, they nowadays are not following this convention. So what they are saying is, I want to get location of my vehicles. Okay, that's all. So that's the story. Then second story could be, I want so and so, I want to see a dashboard, I want to see a report with so and so features. Like this also people, some people prefer to write their stories. It is up to the team and up to you whether you want to write a description like this in the title, or but anyway you have to write a good description, right? So you have to anyway tell the user, tell the team what you want, right? So here in the description you describe it properly. So tell like what do you want. So for example, I want to get locations of my vehicle so that I can view the vehicle number, the nearest city, the geocode, and so on. Yeah, so then basically you need to write more things, but for this tutorial I'm just writing one line, but you need to write more things in it, right? So perhaps some buttons will be there. So, perhaps you need to see all these things in a list format, okay, with date, time, and all these things, right? So you can keep on adding those things. Then comes the acceptance criteria. Now the team will work on it, but whether you will accept the things or what is the condition for you to accept the delivery of this story, right? So the team will create an interface and they will do whatever you have mentioned in the description, right? But in the final, the conclusion is that, okay, I will accept the story if it should give me the geolocation, okay, the nearest city name and country. Let's say your transport company is working across countries, then perhaps country name, and then the vehicle numbers. Yeah, vehicle numbers. Now, in nutshell, you want all these things. These are kind of the mandatory things which you need in the story. So if let's say vehicle number is not getting properly displayed, then in that case you cannot accept delivery of the story. The team need to rework on it. Okay. So this is the requirement, and this is what needs to be complete by the team. In the description, you write more details about it. Okay, the vehicle number should be in so and so format. The city name should be before the country name. All these detailed things you work out in the description, right? And in a nutshell, this is what is needed. Now, after that, there is a discussion. Let's save this. So save. Okay, now in the discussion, then again, if you need to, there could be questions on this things, certain things you may forget to add or certain things may not be very clear. So in that case, team will ask questions. So instead of emails, follow this discussion thread. So encourage your team to use this discussion thread, because emails will get lost. It will be difficult to find things, but in the reason the discussion thread is here, that you can track everything at one place, and it will be a lot easier for you to go back to a story and refer it. Okay, what was the change, why it was changed, right? All these things you can write here. So even if you are changing a description, so always good to in the discussion just mention the reason why you changed something. Okay. So in the discussion, let's say I want some developer, right? So let's say this user. So there'll be all the users in this team will be listed in this when you type this @ symbol, and then let's say user 1, please do not add let's say the zip code. Yeah, zip code. I only need the names. Right, so suppose like this you are saying, then dev user 1 will respond back to you, okay, okay, fine, I will do so and so, and I have added this, can you please review it? Like this, conversations can happen not only between you and that team member, but between team members also, or between team one developer and one QA. So like this discussions can happen in this. So but all the discussions should be specific to this story, right? You should not start discussing about some other stories in this discussion thread. So that is the reason of, and then you can format all these things. So, color and everything is there. So if you want to highlight something, you can use red color like this. So that is the, that is all about the discussion thread. Then you can see there are the story points, which is used during the estimation of the story. So some people prefer story points, which follows this Fibonacci series, starting from 1, then 2, then 2 plus 1, 3, then 3 plus 2, 5, then 5 plus 3, 8. Like this, it increases. The points increases based on the complexity and how big or how much more time it will take to complete the story. Based on all these criteria, story points is decided. So 1 is the simplest story. And let's say you want to add a button, then the story point could be 1. But if, let's say, you want to add a button and some help text, and plus you want some more text fields, then perhaps it will be a 3-point story, because it is 3 times more difficult or will take more time than a 1-point story. So that's how you decide on the story points. But it is not the product owner or the business analyst, but it is the team which decides. The team who will be delivering this, they will decide the story points. Okay, so that is why you have the sprint planning sessions where the story points are decided. Then priority. Now this is something set by the PO or the business analyst. So you have to decide what should be the priority of the story. So 1 being the top priority, 4 being the least priority. Yeah. Classification. Under classification, then what is the whether it is business or architectural, whether it is a technical thing, then architectural. If it is a business functionality related thing, then it will be business. Then remaining hours is, let's say in the beginning of the story it will be 10 hours, right? And then gradually when the team works on it, every day they will reduce some hours. So perhaps next day it will be remaining hours could be 5, third day remaining hours could be 0. Okay, so this should be updated before every scrum call, so that it will provide a correct picture. Yeah, so these things should be updated. So that's about this. Now you have some links here. So this is one link which is used frequently, is the related work link. Suppose you want to tag this story to some other story, or there's a feature you want to tag this story to the feature. So select this, and here you select what type of relationship it is, right? If you want a parent, that another story should be a parent of this story, then select parent and click on this. And then you can see all these things. Suppose another feature, I want this story to be part of this user dashboard feature, then I can select this, and now it is linked here. Click on OK. So this will come up. So when I go to this feature, I will see this story as a child of this feature. So similarly, there are other things also, like duplicate. If you see that this story is a duplicate, then add that. Or if you think that this story is a child of something, this story should have another child, then you can create a link like that. So like this, different options are provided here. Link types are provided. You can select that and link the stories accordingly. Okay. Now this is another thing which will be used for the branching purpose, or to connect it to a repository. The story that this story's source code can be traced back, okay, to the branch and to the repo. Then let's go to this icon here. This is the history icon. Basically, who has done what change to this story. All this can be tracked here. You can also see this kind of text on the right side when you select a particular row here. So you can see all the this kind of what field change has been made. So title was changed, or acceptance criteria was changed. So all these things can be traced through this history tab. Now next is this links tab. Now we have added the link from there. You can also add the link from here. So same thing, but you can see all these links in a list, here, and categorized accordingly. So if you, let's say, add a child and say that this bug is a child of this story, then you can see one more category coming up, child, right? So it will be nicely categorized and in a list format. Then here you have the attachment link towards the end, and you can add an attachment, any like test case or anything. For example, let's say I have this sample file here. I want to add this, so drag it and drop it here. So now it is attached. If you want to add one more, you can again drag or drop, or you can click on this add attachment button. Okay. So these are the tabs here. now suppose you want to follow this story, you want to know the updates, someone has been some state has been changed or someone has been assigned to this story, you want to know that, then there is a follow here. Okay, before that, let's save it. Now you click on this follow, and now you are following anything, any changes to this, an email will be sent to you. So you can also customize it by clicking on this, and here you can see if you don't want to see anything, you don't want to subscribe, then you can click on this and this icon will change back to follow. Okay, now you can see this icon has changed back to follow. Or if you want something, then if you want to receive notifications, subscribe. Or if you want to receive only certain type of notifications, like only when state changes you want to know about that, then you can check this custom and check this. Okay, and click on OK. Now you are following, but only for specific notifications. So like this, you have these icons here. This is refresh, this is undo, and then before going to these 3 buttons, I want to show you these things here. So here you have like if you want to assign it to a particular user, you can select it, click on this drop down and assign it to a particular user. You can change the state. So when the story is created, it will be new state, but when someone starts working, it will be active state. Yeah, and then when it is done, the developer completes the work, resolved, and when it is tested and everything, it is closed. Yeah, so that's how you change the status here. And then area, so area is like this belongs to this project. Okay, so that is the area here. And then which iteration. Now if it is in sprint 1, then it will be iteration 1. If it is in sprint 2, iteration 2, or sprint 3, iteration 3. Like this you can select here, or you can mention if you whatever iteration this story should be, that can be mentioned here. So that is about iterations. There's buttons here. Now you can see you can change type of this story. So change type means, suppose I realize that this story should be a bug actually, so I can select a bug and click on OK. This story will be converted to a bug. Okay, so that's the change type. And if you want to again link something, you want to add another link, this shortcut has been provided here as well. Then you can create a copy of this work item. If let's say you have written a lot of descriptions, some acceptance criteria which can be used in another story, you can create a copy and then modify those small little things. Okay, you can email this work item as well, so that is also a feature provided here. Template, if you have customized anything here, for example, you can add some buttons here, or if you have done some customizations, you can also capture that and store that as a template. So templates, capture, and then provide a name and all these details. And if you want to remove something or add something, you can do that, and then you can save it. Okay, so the save button will be highlighted. Once you fill up all these things, the save button will be highlighted, and then you can save it. So this is the capture template, and then you can reuse this template across projects. Okay, it will be saved at the organization level, and then you can reuse it. So that is your template. Then new branch, again, this is used if you want to add a branch here, you can do that using this new branch button. Request feedback, again, if you have some feedbacks, if you want to know something or get some feedback, you can request feedback from your fellow team members. Customize. Now if you want to customize this board, right, so click on this customize button, and then you can customize the layout of the story page. For example, now I showed you this thing, story points, priority, right, value, remaining hours, all these things. But if you want to add some new field, let's say estimated hours, yeah, if you want to add something called as estimated hours, yeah, add this. So now estimated hours is coming up in the this place, right, so this layout. Now if you go back, so this is the process which we are editing here. So if you go back to the project, so we should see when we go to the stories, we should see the new field getting added to the story. Now you can see estimated hours have come up, right, has come up. So before it was not there, now estimated hours is there. So you can say in the beginning that estimated hours will be 12 hours and remaining will also be 12 hours. But when the story is being worked on, this will keep on decreasing, right? This will keep on decreasing day by day. but this estimated hours will be as it is. So it will help you to, if you are reviewing the story at a later stage, you can review, okay, how much total time was taken, and straightforward you will be able to know. So that is how you customize the layout, okay, and then you can, whatever customization you have done, you can save it as a template. Now, yeah, there is one more thing here, risk. So high, medium, low, you can also mention that, so what is the risk if the story is not completed or is not delivered? Okay, what is the risk to the business? If it is too costly, then it is high risk story. Okay, and if it is, say, okay, not that costly, but it is like a cosmetic change, in that case, it could be a low risk story. So that is all about this story. So hopefully you follow this pattern and use whatever I have told here, all these facilities provided by DevOps, and hopefully things will be better. You can manage the things better in your team. There is one more thing here called as tag. You can tag certain stories. Suppose, let's say this is like a tech task, right? So if there's a technical task, you can tag it as tech task. And then what other things we do is, like, so suppose there's a so there are two releases that is happening. One is happening next month and another is happening after 2 months, right? So you can say this story belongs to release 1, and release 2 story will be in a separate branch. You can create that separate branch here. So release 2 story will be connected to a separate branch. So 2 members of your team may work on release 2 stories, and 3 members of your team may work on release 1 story. Okay, so, and using these tags, you can differentiate between this different type of stories. So let's now close this. So that is all about user stories. Now let's add this user story to a sprint. So click on this button, move to iteration, and let's say current iteration. So now if you go to the sprints, you will be able to see this story here, right? Now in the sprint, we have not set dates and other things, but you can easily set it here. If you click on this, and then you can Monday, and then we can say this sprint is ending on 23rd, save and close. Now this iteration, this is a 2-week sprint. Okay, you can also add more iteration by clicking on this new sprint, and then you can say iteration 4 and so date. Okay, so all these things you can do from here. Now the story has been created. It has been moved to the sprint board now. Okay, so the team will know exactly what are the things they have to do here, and so you can assign the story. Let's say this story is assigned to this person, and now let's say it's a 5-point story. It takes 12 hours. Okay, so that's fine. Save and close. So when this person starts working on this story, he will move it to active state. Okay, now the story is active. Now when the planning happens, so after the planning is complete, right, there should be an internal discussion between the developers, and they should create tasks. So that is where this will become useful. Now this is a story, but as part of this, there could be 5 or 6 tasks, right? Developers and QAs will come up with some tasks. So for example, create a HTML page, or then create a list view. Okay, QA, or it could be QA task. So that's why I'm saying QA, so that it can be differentiated between. You can do something else also. I mean, you can follow your own pattern. So QA, so QA task, so QA prefix, so prefix QA is used here. So test the list view, right? So like this, different tasks can be created. Now tasks also follow the similar kind of pattern, where you have the this kind of things, priority, activity, original estimate, remaining, completed. Now priority, I had told you, 1 is the highest, 4 is the lowest. By default 2 is the priority. So that is the thing. Description is, if you want to write some description about this, like you have just written a heading, right? So create a HTML page, but you need to write some certain more things. Sometimes people follow this. If you don't follow also, it is fine. If the developer understands what they need to do, they can just leave it with, and most of the people don't want to spend too much time in writing or documenting all these things, which is also okay. Okay, as long as the title is good enough to understand. Yeah. So description and then again discussion, anything connected to this task. If that wants to be discussed, that needs to be discussed, then you can discuss it here. Or else usually the story discussion thread is followed, because or for a 5-pointer story, you may not have a lot of questions here, but you will want to discuss it at the story level rather than at a task level. So that is discussion, and then activity. So what kind of activity this story is at? Is it at a design stage or a development stage, or are you writing some wiki pages for the story? So all these things you can provide here. Then original estimate. Now every story will have its own estimate, right? So every task will have its own estimate as well, like a story. So story has, let's say, 12 hours of estimate. The task may take perhaps 3 hours. Okay. So again, remaining will be 3 initially, and then later on it will be reduced. This is the integration build, which is this drop down. Right now none, so we don't use it much, but if you want to implement and provide some build pipeline details here, then you can provide. Then there is the history. Same thing. History is again, whoever does any change to the story to this task, so that those things will be visible here. Links is the same, and then attachments. Okay. Now that is all about the task. Similarly, follow and the rest of the things are same, like state, area, iteration, unassigned, or and then you assign it to some developer, so that can be done here. And these buttons, the similar things. Okay, so you can customize this, but before that you need to save it. So let's save it. So you can customize again this task template as well, right? So what we customized earlier was the template for the story, but now you can also customize the task template. So this is what is all about tasks. Now when you are working on tasks, so at some stage it will be tested, right, by the QA. So as part of the story, a QA will come up and that person will test, right? Let's say this person is testing it. So after the testing is complete, then if the QA person finds some bug, then they'll create bugs under the story. So click here and create a bug. Okay. Homepage links are not working. That's a bug. If they want to attach some screenshots and all those things, they can attach it here. Okay, the screenshots and retro steps. They will write step 1, go to this URL. Step 2, click on this link, and then step 3, you are getting this error. Okay, like this, they can write the steps here and provide any information about the system here. And then again, same pattern, discussions. Any questions on the bug, ask here. So rest of the things, again, bugs can be treated like a story. So you can put a story point, because if a bug comes up, it may take it needs to be replanned. Okay, usually you need to put a plan in place, because as part of regression testing cycle, which may take one sprint, the QAs may come up with, let's say, some 20 bugs, right? So you cannot fix all the 20 bugs in a sprint. So you need to do a planning for that, so that you know exactly how much time it will take to complete all these bugs, right? So towards the end of the if there are too many things, okay, let's say in 4 or 5 sprints there are too many things to be delivered. So what we do is that let's say after 5th sprint, a 6th sprint will be a regression testing sprint. So in that sprint, all this regression testing will happen, and all the bugs will be put under a regression testing story, and then you can allocate some story points. You can do a planning for that, okay, to complete all the bugs. So that way you put a planning, so that you know that how much can be complete and how much can be delivered, right? So that is where the story points becomes useful. Otherwise, if it's part of the sprint, this testing is part of a sprint, then the story points may not be needed. All right. And then other things are, same like tasks, the links and all, the history, links, attachment here, and the same format and the same things here. But for this bug, again, you will it depends on you what you want to use, what you don't want to use. Sometimes this let's say I want to tag it like regression testing bug, right? So I can tag it like this, or a release 1 bug. I can tag it release 1 bug. Okay, this is release 1. So you can tag this, and later on when you are using a query or something, then you can use this tagging feature also to query certain things. Okay, so this is all about the bugs. Now let's say after the production release happens, there could be some issues or something. So what you can do is you can go here to work item, and you can here in this view you can create a lot of things, right? You can create epic feature, you can also create an issue here. So you can create issues from the work items, okay, and those issues will get added here. Now going back to your backlogs. So this is the backlog, and whatever we have done there, you can see that some bugs and all those things are visible here. If I go to boards, I can show you how to create test cases. Okay, now here in the board view, what you do is that now all the stories, everything that you have created will be available here. You can also see this here. Now you can click on this and you can see these 2 bugs, okay, connected to this story. And there are some 3 tasks, right? You can see all these things here. If you want to create a test case, click on this button here and then add test. So here you can add some test cases. So for example, one of the test cases to, let's say, check if vehicle numbers are in correct format, right? Then let's add one more test case. Location should be location should also provide the city and country name details, right? So like this you create different test cases. So and then when you go to this test cases, you can write the test steps. Okay, so test steps are written here. So you click here. Now this is step 1. The action is, okay, launch the AON transport, or let's say select AON transport link. Step 2, go to the home page, and click on vehicle details. Step 3 is vehicle number should have the country prefix, okay, and 4 numbers following it. Okay, so this is how you can write test cases. Step 4, step 5, all these things, and then you execute these test cases. So what you do is that you go to the, so open the browser window, okay, follow this test case. Now open the browser window and then click on the link. So you can provide the link here, http, okay, aontransport.com, let's say, right, aontransport.com, and then you type that link in the browser. Now this site doesn't exist, or I don't know whether it exists or not, but I just made it up, so it doesn't exist. So you just type that, then it's saying that go to the home page. So go to the site and then click on the home link, right? And then there should be click on the vehicle details. Like this, you follow whatever steps are written here. So that is the purpose of this test case. And in the end, if the test fails or pass, so those things you can document. Okay, so this description, any description if you want to add with respect to this test case, you can do this. Associated automation, usually this is something which is provided through Visual Studio, and they can associate that automation script to this test case. All right, history is the same. History, links, attachment, the same thing which I have explained before. That is, you can see the history of the things. you can link it to other stories, bugs, and then attachments is anything important for this test case. You can attach those things, any important documents or the Excel documents, Word documents, anything you want to attach, you can attach those things here, right? And what is the priority of this test case? Again, you can set that. Is there an automation script for it? If planned, you can say planned. If not, then not automated, right? Discussion thread, same thing which I've described earlier. So you can use it to discuss anything with connection to this test case. But usually this discussion happens between either a BA and yourself or a QA and another QA, right? So because it is test case related discussion, so usually these are the people who will be involved here. But you can also tag developers, so that is not a problem. Same thing here, all these things are same format. All right, so that is how you write it, and then you then document the results here, right? So whether it is pass or fail. So when you are doing the testing, by following these steps, you can mention those simultaneously, so that you know that, okay, what are the steps which are failing or passing, all these things you can know. Okay, and once you have executed everything, so you can close it. So that is how you write test cases and you document the things. So hopefully in today's video I have followed all the things that I have mentioned before in the beginning of the video. So if you have any questions, comments, you can ask me in the comment section below. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, please hit the like button. Thank you very much.